Reiki, NLP, guided meditation, past life regression, and other techniques to heal our blocks to developing a thriving Reiki practice. We will also be strengthening our connection to our guides, angels, ascended masters, and higher self, and gaining insight on the spiritual path. Questions will be answered and encouragement given to you to move forward with your Reiki practice. Networking, open discussion of important Reiki issues, and problem solving will take place. The Sai Baba training will also be given. Sai Baba, a guru from India who is known for his ability to manifest holy ash and other sacred objects, has channeled an alternate system of Reiki. It is complete with an attunement process and 4 symbols. We have experimented with this system and found it to be effective and powerful. The energy has a different vibration than Usui-Reiki. Those who receive the attunements report experiences with their guides, angels, and higher self. Feelings of being more grounded and a greater sense of clarity and spiritual purpose are also present. The 4 Sai Baba symbols have proven effective. The first symbol is useful with past life issues. It helps release karma and deeply seated issues on a cellular level. The second symbol restores balance and brings deep healing. Its essence is love, truth, beauty, and harmony. The third symbol can be used to break up the negative patterns we unconsciously use to insulate ourselves from the truth, thus shattering delusion and denial. It can clear and open the channels to higher consciousness. The fourth symbol opens the lower chakras and our connection to the earth. It balances the upper chakras and the earth also. The Sai Baba attunement will be given, as well as instructions on the use of the symbols. You will also be shown how to do the attunement and have time to practice. Come and network with other Reiki masters from all over the country. This is going to be an exciting workshop with lots of dedicated, high-energy people. 3 classes scheduled, June 10th through the 12th, December 2nd through the 4th, February 10th through the 12th. Cost $700. A $100 deposit is necessary. Class held at the Center for Reiki Training, Southfield, Michigan. Class manual and certificate included. Class taught by William Lee Rand and Cindy Power. Cindy Power is someone who was in the Reiki class that I took with William Rand, also taking that class. Her name is Cindy Rowe. Cynthia Rowe. She was neat. I actually drove back to Indianapolis and hung out with her for a while. Now, what came out of this was very interesting, because evidently as people arrived, they were told that there were 2 different levels or something like that. And the second level cost another $700. So, I'm sort of on my knees thanking my guides for this legal turmoil. Yeah?
There's someone around here really who teaches Sai Baba Reiki, and right now they've only taught Sai Baba Reiki 1 in levels, and they're charging $150, per level. I took Sai Baba 1. It's awesome, absolutely awesome the way it works, and they're very good teachers.
Cool. I saw that in Nexus.
Yeah, they studied Sai Baba from somebody named Glenn Derrick, but I think maybe they first took that class. They didn't say for sure it's from William Rand, but they said they didn't learn enough about it, and it's so powerful that you don't want to fool around with it. And so they found this Glenn Derrick guy, and I don't know. All I know is Sai Baba level 1, the way they teach it is one long day of, it's too much material for one day, really, going full blast, and it's very powerful.
Is that Norman and Catherine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually spoke to them too, and they told me that they went to take that class with William Rand, but they didn't think that he had it together, so the whole class kind of put him to the task and found out that Glenn, whatever you said his name was, Derrick, had been his teacher, and so they ended up going back and taking it with him instead.
One of the things that I find really interesting about this is that we're not going to get into the Sai Baba stuff now. I'm only going to cover this briefly. Disclaimer. Is that the Sai Baba material isn't that much. There isn't that much stuff from the source of Kathleen Miller. And that as I've traveled around, I have seen so many people tack so much extra stuff on it that it's crazy. To the point that what you will get are the handouts that she gave me, the handouts that she uses in her class, the videotape, that she gives to people to help them rehearse her attunement procedures. A meditation is really great that I really like. She got finished with this meditation, she was taking me through it verbally. I was thinking, I should have rolled tape. And my first words to her when we were done was, tell me it's on tape. And it was, and I bought it instantly. so much extra stuff has been tacked onto this, it's amazing. There's a stack of stuff here from Karen Mitchell in Chicago. Karen Mitchell is the premier Reiki teacher in Chicago. She is one step removed from Kathleen Milner on her lineage, and yet symbols are different, materials are different. A lot of the stuff's transposed directly because the stuff that you will get from Kathleen Milner still has your name, it still has your phone number and address on it and everything, so you can contact her. But she'll look you straight in the eye and say, take it off, put your own name on it, I don't care. She's very respectful about leaving other people's names in association with stuff that she's developed, so I've maintained that same respect with her and left her stuff on the materials of college, whatever. But you know, one step removed from this, and already symbols are different. I mean, we'll get to that later. But the Sai Baba material isn't this huge body of information. What it is a change in energy. You know, it's a different procedure. Yeah.
Okay, you went to this class and you were going to take the class. Did you kind of stay, or did you drift off before they started, or what did you do?
No, what wound up happening is that he canceled me out of it. I think I'm becoming too much of a threat or something. But he mailed me a letter canceling it, so I went to the and then the other one cropped up, which was the guy I love, and he was like premiering his class. He's teaching in Omega and SAON and stuff, and this was a class that he wanted like people that like taught other things to come to. So I went to spend anything in Bloomington, Indiana, and critiquing those things.
Well, the way I heard the story from a friend of mine who apparently went to that class, and that William Rand wasn't quite ready to teach the whole thing, and that the people basically told him, wait a minute, this is what your ad said, this is what we expect to get. And apparently he brought this Derek over to teach this Sai Baba stuff. Now Derek's coming into Denver monthly, and he's doing a Kabbalah class with some people that I'm associated with. But anyhow, the class turned out to be a success, after all.
That's cool. I know that 4 or 5 people from it wound up tracking down Kathleen and disseminating and trying to correlate the story. And the story that he related as its history was clearly hers. And Kathleen's fairly well known. You know, I mean, her stuff's appeared in catalogs now, so that's how they found her.
Well, she mentioned to me in a phone conversation I had with her one time that she wasn't pleased with William Rand. She thought that she needed to take some legal action. I told her, look, from what I know about William Rand, if you write him a strong letter, he'll either acknowledge you or do something that's right. I don't know where it is now.
I thought that was very interesting.
Another interesting aside is that someone has given Kathleen's video that you have here to the library in Prescott, Arizona, for anyone to check out. And I thought it was too, because a friend of mine who's a master then said that she got it because some man called her and said, oh, I don't need to take Reiki, I already am the Reiki master, I've seen the video. I also have Kathleen's new address in Phoenix.
Yeah, her letter. So, the politics and the mess continue. That's what we're conveying here, basically.
No secrets.
No secrets allowed, you know. If I got legal action, I tell you about it. So, you know what, I got nothing to hide. So anyway, here are a couple of his things. I'll leave these up here with everything else. You can go ahead and look through it. I did think that was weird. Weird at best, you know.
With all this stuff going on, how do you explain that the attunements and the symbols and everything, it all still works?
Excuse me?
Well, with all this stuff going on, you know, all the differences and the changes and the ripping off and everything, how do we explain that the attunements and the symbols and the treatments all still work?
Hopefully by the end of the day we'll have a synthesis for you on that. One of the things that I think, you know, speaks to that point is the fact that everything on this table, every word I've ever written, every word anybody else has ever written about this is garbage. You know, I mean, none of it matters. The only thing that matters in this entire thing is the energy itself. I mean, that's it. You know, all the rest is just mind candy. You know. Reiki has built up this huge anthology of literature, and it's a huge anthology of conflicting literature in a lot of cases, and that's why I'm trying my best to try to figure out what the hell's going on out there. But out of this you have, a certain core body of information that's very helpful. Now, you could stop in, give somebody the hand positions, not give them the hand positions, attune them to X level of Reiki, and say, okay, now go practice. But I think that one of the problems that you're going to have in that is the fact that, we're Americans and we want knowledge, I mean, travel to, begin to travel a little bit and you realize that there's a huge information glut in most areas of the world, yet we've got a bookstore on every corner. I mean, people come here from South Africa and they go through metaphysical bookstores here and they're like, my God, where's my credit card? I mean, that's a fairly civilized country, I mean, it's got cities and cars, and all of that. So we are very information-based, have very, very technocratic minds. And I think that a lot of us do. In fact, I'd say that I think nearly all of us do, at least to a certain extent. I mean, maybe mine was extremely excessive. But because of that, systems are needed, information is needed, procedures are needed. I didn't start off in this side of the world. I didn't start off doing Reiki. I started off doing will healing. And it wasn't for a very long time, really, before a trust level was built up in myself that, I could consider something like Reiki working. I mean, it seemed like a lot of fluff and hot air to me. What is it? You lay your hands on someone, you stand there, duh. And that's the way I thought about it. Over time, I began simple process of observations and trust, and I started to realize, and maybe we will get into this discourse now, I don't know, but I started to realize that that what I was doing, essentially in most forms of world healing, and I mean, we're going to take a generalization overview here of something that crosses all of them, all of those systems. They all involve breath work, and they all involve visualization, and all of that. So you're visualizing blue in this one spot where this person has some kind of whatever. But what are you really doing there? From an energetic standpoint, you're offering them one specific frequency of energy, or a small series of frequencies of energy that you picked out. Based on the experience of the people that came before you, hopefully, I mean, if you've done your homework, to sort of fix and alleviate that problem. And this is completely different. Channeled energy healing could not be more different in that you're doing the exact opposite. Your job essentially as a channeled energy healer is to lay your hands on and open yourself up to the widest spectrum of energy possible. Now, I'm picky about the energies that I open up to, and I mean, I'll cop to that one, in that I don't like currents that are group energetic, meaning I don't like currents that tie me in heavily to the energy of everybody else that's tapped into that same energy source. I mean, that's just not one of my favorite things. Hermetic magic is famous for that. If you're going to do any kind of group ritual work, my God, you better be insanely careful about who you're doing it with, because you're going to be doing a lot of sharing in terms of your energy and quote-unquote karmic stuff, however you define that. And, in this, my goal has been to find, the energies which are the most beneficial. The energies which don't tap me in to a group energetic standpoint. The energies which are very nice and safe and protective. So I'm not, opening myself up to, all the forces of the universe by any stretch of the imagination, but as an evocative healer, which is what I am. I mean, I teach this stuff, I go in and I teach this stuff, but first and foremost, I'm a healer. I mean, that's what I am. Probably a much better healer than I am a teacher. And my job is to be able to access, or to allow people to access, the widest spectrum of energy possible through me. I place parameters on that based on my knowledge from more willed and magical schools of thought to protect my own energy field or protect my own consciousness or whatever. That's probably my own dogmatic crap, so you don't even have to buy into what I'm saying there. But the important thing to realize about this is that the key is to maintain that open energy field, to allow people to draw as wide a spectrum of healing energy through you as is possible. Because, essentially, you can't really go out and heal someone else. I mean, that's a real misnomer. There are systems where you can overpower someone's stuff temporarily, and produce a healing, but, I have friends who are charismatic Christian healers, and there are different schools of thought on that. And a lot of the ones that, use the third eye, and use just a sharp injection of energy into the third eye. And people will throw their crutches away, and then meet them like a day later. I mean, it was overpowered for that moment. They walked out, they were free, they experienced that sensation. But the next day, it repeated. So I'm not saying that you can't force that onto them, because clearly you can, and you can do that for varying lengths of time as well. But that's not. It seems to me that that's not where the key lies in all of this. The key lies in all of this, at least with me, in the ability to allow people, essentially, you as a healer are giving the person, we should all have the ability to heal ourselves, so we all have the ability to access this stuff. There's something limiting it down. When you're attracting a healer to yourself, or when someone is attracting you to them as a healer, I see that process, at least metaphorically in my consciousness, as them attracting to themselves a series of energies that they can't access normally. For some reason, they've shut off their ability to access. And that's sort of what I represent to them. So my job is to lay my hands on and let them draw through me whatever they need. Whatever I'm not sealed up to that they sort of are. And that's one of the interesting things about this. I mean, there are a lot of Reiki people out there that swear that after a few months of treatment, that person is every bit as attuned to what they have to offer as if they'd initiated them. And I think that's an interesting flip side to that. I mean, those people aren't idiots. Those people are clairvoyants who've really done their homework through the years on top of it all.